just yawned back when we were supposed to start a minute ago.
Oh. My bad. Sorry. I zoned out for a second. I didn't realize. Hi, honey.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi. I'm a little behind today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm having some issues, but we are at one of my favorite parts of Daniel.
Are we?
The end.
Yeah, I'm really glad this is over. Almost.
Well, not just because it's the end, but because we have some more Jesus stuff today. So you ready to learn some more stuff about the Bible?
Oh, yes. Please, honey, teach me about the Bible.
I'm going to teach you.
Okay.
So last time, in case you guys don't remember, we heard about how the 70 years was done that Jerry had prophesied, and the Israelites are returned to Israel. So that's what happened last week, just to catch anybody up that cares. Next, we have the last vision of Daniel, and this is going to occur, I don't know, sometime supposedly around 500 BCE or sometime in that time frame. In reality, though, it definitely takes place in the 2nd century BC. Anyways, Cyrus the Intolerant is in power, and a great war is coming. Not too much unlike World War I, which was the war to end all wars, by the way.
Was it?
Yeah, that preceded the Second World War.
Right.
But anyways, a great war is coming, and Daniel mourns because he got a voicemail talking about how he lost his job. Apparently he got fired, and he was so distraught by being fired from his barista job at the local Starbucks that he didn't even use lotion to jerk off. He was just like, fuck it, I'll just do it, I'll raw dog it.
That makes it worse.
And then on January 24th, I don't know how they know the exact day, but apparently January 24th, he was standing by a tiger's river. I don't know why the tiger owns the river, but, and then he saw Jesus, who was all blinged out.
It's the tigress.
Like a, somebody that's just had too much money, didn't know what to do with it. So he just went and bought a whole bunch of just really random shit. Like he's got a grill that spins. It's they spinning.
This is not what we discussed.
But only Daniel saw this ridiculously blinged out Jesus that was standing next to the Tiger's River. And, but that didn't stop everybody else from freaking out. Apparently, when Daniel started talking to his hallucination, everybody was like, let's get the fuck up out of here. Okay. This guy's crazy. And, so they all ran off scared. Jesus then comforted Daniel, saying, "You cool, bruh." And God had heard Daniel's words that apparently Daniel had shouted at the air. And so he sent Jesus to explain some shit. As Jesus was explaining shit, he told him that the Prince of Persia, or aka Jake Gyllenhaal, had detained Jesus. And then Jesus is going to tell Daniel the future right now, if you can keep up with this. So anyways, Daniel went face down, ass up, and then Jesus caressed his lips for some reason. It was really Then Daniel confesses that he felt unworthy. He kind of did like a Wayne's World thing, like, well, I'm not worthy. And so in order to comfort him, Jesus tickled his prostrate, and that made Daniel feel better.
Oh, okay.
And so then Jesus asked Daniel if he knows why he's here. Daniel doesn't know why the fuck he's here. Daniel is apparently going to fight Jake Gyllenhaal in a no-holds-bar cage match, pay-per-view style.
Oh.
Yeah, it's going to be like a cage match. So like at one point, I'm sure Daniel's going to throw Jake Gyllenhaal outside of the cage. And then, Daniel's going to get on top of the cage and then do like a super elbow drop on top of Jesus and just fuck Jesus up. Send him back to daddy crying.
None of this was part of the meeting.
But keep in mind, nobody in this crowd of the cage match is going to support Daniel, except for Michael. Michael's going to be the lone motherfucker that's got the Daniel sign being like, you can do it, Daniel. Or maybe he'll say, damn, Daniel.
But they're not going to damn Daniel.
No, they won't, not damn him, but
I know.
Anyways, Jesus then continues by saying that 4 kings will come and go and make problems for Greece. And then some kind of fucking king is going to arise who's going to have a great power, but then he's going to die and his kingdom's going to be chopped up like like a cow at slaughter or something. I don't know. It's going to be divided up into 4 different pieces. And then another king becomes like stronger, and so he causes trouble. And then there's some other power struggles. There's some betrayal that happens, some backstabbing, and then finally the South will rise again. I don't know why it's the South that's always the assholes. Like, is there one point in time when the South could not be the representation of everything wrong in the world and just cause a bunch of shit for everybody? Like, we need a break. Anyways, dipshits are ruling the South in every single portion of time and space. So anyways, there were a lot of invasions and terrifying shit that happened. I don't know, yada, yada, yada. At this point, Daniel's tugging on his lip like Donald Trump as he's reading the Fourth Amendment. So this bastard ruler that apparently has arose will eventually get put down like a dog in the dirt. Michael, or AKA Jesus, will arise. I don't know if y'all didn't know, Jesus is Michael. Michael is Jesus in this. So I mean, if you can imagine like Jesus putting on a wig and like he's already got a mustache. If you can imagine him shaving off his mustache and then just sort of having like that half beard thingy.
What?
You know, kind of like it's just the beard, no stash, just the beard.
Why?
And that would be Michael.
Why can't he just have like long hair like Fabio?
I mean, Jesus already has long hair.
I'm talking about Michael.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's Jesus, you know.
Okay.
He's got to make Michael look like a hillbilly so he looks reasonable. He pops up. Anyways, then judgment is going to be upon them. And of course, this is Jesus rattling all this off, by the way. Jesus says that all of this is going to happen within 3.5 years, which we all know it doesn't happen. So Jesus is a fucking liar. Everything will be completed when everyone was broken. That's what I wrote. Broken. Everybody gets broken, and then everything will be complete. So Daniel's like, listen, I really don't fucking care about all this shit. I've been tugging on my lips for 12 hours now. What's the outcome of all this? And so Jesus says that the outcome will be the good will be rewarded and the evil will continue to be shitheads. And then the end of days is 1,335 days after the end starts. And then Jesus makes a promise to Daniel that he will be rewarded for being such a good little boy. The end of the Bible study.
No.
Thanks. What?
No, that's not going to be the end of the Bible study. Are you out of your mind?
I mean,
none of that is what we talked about.
I captured the essence of the Bible study that we.
No, honey. No.
Okay. I guess we'll have to go over it then, huh?
Yes, we're going to do that. Let's do that.
Okay. What's up, heathens? How y'all doing? Hi there, honey. How you doing?
I'm all right. How you?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. So apparently I got some things wrong in that opening sequence. So I guess Casey's going to have to correct me on it.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a weird one. It is Daniel's last vision. You know, last time I think we got a couple new kings last time, right? And we ended up with Cyrus.
Yeah, I think we went through a few kings in the Game of Thrones.
Because we had Darius, and then we got Cyrus. So this is a few years following the last time we talked to Daniel. And it's the 3rd year of King Cyrus's reign. Okay, and I think he's Persian. Is that right? Yeah, he's the king of Persia. And so we're reminded right off at the beginning. We're going to do Daniel 10, 11, and 12, and we're reminded right at the beginning that Daniel's called Belteshazzar. I have the hardest time with that. And in time, we're placing this in time at 536 BCE. We know that's not actually when this stuff happened, mainly because this book wasn't written at this time. Right. This book is written in the first person as if it's a witness to this time, but it's not. I think it was written in like the 2nd century BCE, right?
Yes.
So this is well before that. Okay. So in the 3rd year of Cyrus, king of Persia, a revelation was given to Daniel, who was called Belteshazzar. I can't ever the first time do it. Its message was true, and it concerned a great war. The understanding of the message came to him in a vision, but he didn't have the vision at first, right? So before that, he mourned for 3 weeks. It says, at that time, I, Daniel, mourned for 3 weeks. I ate no choice food, no meat or wine touched my lips, and I used no lotions at all until the 3 weeks were over.
Damn, raw dog.
This seems kind of like a Lenten period.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. It does.
Yeah. On the 24th day of the first month, as I was standing on the bank of the great river. Now this I, in this case, is Daniel. He's writing it. I was standing on the bank of the great river, the Tigris. I looked up, and there before me was a man dressed in linen with a belt of fine gold from Uphaz around his waist. His body was like topaz, his face like lightning, his eyes like flaming torches, his arms and legs like the gleam of burnished bronze, and his voice like the sound of a multitude. He's fancy.
So like the sound of a multitude, is that just like it sounded like he had several voices going on at once? Like I feel like you need to call an exorcist for that shit.
Perhaps. I, Daniel, was the only one who saw the vision. Those who were with me did not see it, but such terror overwhelmed them that they fled and hid themselves.
You know, this sounds familiar, doesn't it?
A little bit.
Yeah, I believe that it's somewhere in Acts where Paul sees a vision of Jesus and nobody else sees it.
Were all the other people he was with terrified? This seems really weird. If you can't see something, I would just think Daniel was crazy. Like if I was hanging out with you and you're looking out into the sky and you're like, do you see that guy? He looks like fucking topaz with fiery eyes, a lightning face, and his voice sounds like a demon. Like, I would feel like I would need to get you medical attention. I wouldn't be terrified of whatever it is you're seeing. I would be concerned for your health.
Yeah.
But these people were terrified and went to hide. Seems like a weird reaction.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. So, sorry, I'm looking up like what exactly happens in Saul's vision in Acts, which, by the way, Acts is written by whoever wrote Luke. So, and the Gospel of Luke is not written by anybody that was actually with Paul. So this is all completely fictional. But, Paul does see like a light flash around him and heard Jesus talk and everything like that. And the men traveling with Saul stood there speechless. They heard the sound but did not see anyone. Saul got up from the ground, opened his eyes, and for 3 days he was blind. So
at least they heard something. They just didn't see anything.
Yeah, they didn't see anyone. They heard the sound and they were speechless. So I don't know. That's not exactly like running away from it scared, but they definitely had a reaction to not seeing.
All right. Well, so they were overwhelmed with terror, fled, and hid. Here's what Daniel did. You ready? So I was left alone, gazing at this great vision. I had no strength left. My face turned deathly pale, and I was helpless. Then I heard him speaking, and as I listened to him, I fell into a deep sleep, my face to the ground.
So wait a second. He stood there, and then as he listened to him, he fell flat on his face.
Apparently.
How crazy would that be? You're just talking to somebody and then all of a sudden they just drop out and you're just like, what the fuck, man? I was talking.
Oh no, the vision guy, he has a reaction, but like, where are the people that he's with? He sees something fucked up and then collapses face down and you don't go help him? Mm-hmm. Like, this is weird.
Yeah.
Okay, so a hand touched me, this is still again from Daniel's perspective, and set me trembling on my hands and knees. He said, Daniel, you are highly esteemed. Consider carefully the words I'm about to speak to you and stand up, for I have now been sent to you. And when he said this to me, I stood up trembling. Then he continued, do not be afraid, Daniel. Since the first day that you set your mind to gain understanding and to humble yourself before your God, your words were heard, and I have come in response to them. But the prince of the Persian kingdom resisted me 21 days. Then Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me because I was detained there with the king of Persia. Now I have come to explain to you what will happen to your people in the future, for the vision concerns a time yet to come. I'm really having a hard time understanding how you can be some sort of vision that some people can't see, and you have a lightning face and fucking fiery eyes, and a prince of Persia has you detained for 3 weeks.
Yeah, that seems weird.
I'm not understanding. While he was saying this to me, I bowed with my face toward the ground and was speechless. So face down, ass up, right? Mm-hmm. Then the one who looked like a man. This can also be translated. Most of the manuscripts say something that looked like a human hand. So the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Septuagint, and the Masoretic texts say something that looked like a human hand. Okay, but here they have the one who looked like a man. That's how they've translated it. Touched my lips, and I opened my mouth and began to speak. I said to the one standing before me, I am overcome with anguish because of this vision, my Lord, and I feel very weak. How can I, your servant, talk with you, my Lord? My strength is gone and I can hardly breathe. Again, the one who looked like a man touched me and gave me strength.
Okay.
I want to give Daniel a doll and be like, where did the man touch you, Daniel?
And then he points at the butt.
Do not be afraid, you who are highly esteemed, he said. Peace, be strong now, be strong. When he spoke to me, I was strengthened and said, speak, my Lord, since you have given me strength. So he said, do you know why I have come to you? Soon I will return to fight against the prince of Persia. Why do you need to fight against the prince of Persia?
I don't know. Why does there have to be a cage match?
I don't know.
I mean, I'd pay for it, but
And when I go, the prince of Greece will come. But first, I will tell you what is written in the book of truth. No one supports me against them except Michael, your prince. And in the first year of Darius the Mede, I took my stand to support and protect him. Now then, I tell you the truth. 3 more kings will arise in Persia, and then a 4th, who will be far richer than all the others. When he has gained power by his wealth, he will stir up everyone against the kingdom of Greece. Then a mighty king will arise, who will rule with great power and do as he pleases. After he's arisen, his empire will be broken up and parceled out toward the 4 winds of heaven. It will not go to his descendants, nor will it have the power he exercised, because his empire will be uprooted and given to others. The king of the south will become strong, but one of his commanders will become even stronger than he and will rule his own kingdom with great power. After some years, they will become allies. The daughter of the king of the south will go to the king of the north to make an alliance, but she will not retain her power, and his power will not last. In those days, she will be betrayed, together with her royal escort and her father or child, depending on how you translate that particular word, and the one who supported her. Does this not seem like super Days of Our Lives?
Yeah, it does.
I just keep feeling like this is some kind of soap opera.
Yeah. So this particular portion, I believe, is why most people date the Book of Daniel to the 2nd century BC. Because the ancient Greece eventually fell into decline and was conquered by the Romans. Mm-hmm. And the Greek city-states, Sparta, Athens, Thebes, and Corinth, were broken up into different sections or countries. I think that's what it's talking about here. Okay. But typically, in these particular things, if you ever have a prophecy like this that's very while it's vague and not too specific, it's still specific to what happens to Greece and how Greece is broken up and everything like that. I feel like, with prophecies never being like really prophecies, they're always written after the fact to fall in line or to supposedly say that they predicted something when they really didn't. Mm-hmm. That's why they date. That's one, not the only reason, but that's one of the major reasons why they date Daniel to be in the 2nd century. So this definitely wasn't like, an actual prediction or prophecy.
Okay. Do you want me to continue?
Oh, yes.
Okay. There's still more. There's more in this drama. One from her family line will arise to take her place. He will attack the forces of the king of the north and enter his fortress. He will fight against them and be victorious. He will also seize their gods, their metal images, and their valuable articles of silver and gold and carry them off to Egypt. For some years, he will leave the king of the north alone. Then the king of the north will invade the realm of the king of the south, but will retreat to his own country. His sons will prepare for war and assemble a great army, which will sweep on like an irresistible flood and carry the battle as far as his fortress. Then the king of the south will march out in a rage and fight against the king of the north, who will raise a large army, but it will be defeated. When the army is carried off, the king of the south will be filled with pride. Oh no. And will slaughter many thousands, yet he will not remain triumphant. For the king of the north will muster another army, larger than the first, and after several years he will advance with a huge army fully equipped. In those times, many will rise against the king of the south. Those who are violent among your people will rebel in fulfillment of the vision, but without success. Then the king of the north will come and build siege ramps and will capture a fortified city. The forces of the south will be powerless to resist. Even their best troops will not have the strength to stand. The invader will do as he pleases. No one will be able to stand against him. He will establish himself in the beautiful land and will have the power to destroy it. He will determine to come with the might of his entire kingdom and will make an alliance with the king of the south. After all this, they like align with each other.
Yeah.
Weird. And he will give him a daughter in marriage in order to overthrow the kingdom. Oh, okay. So it's like sly.
I guess so.
So he plans to, they plan an alliance and he's going to give him a daughter, but then he's going to try to use that to overthrow him. Oh my God. Okay, but his plans will not succeed or help him. Then he will turn his attention to the coastlands and take many of them. But a commander will put an end to his insolence and will turn his insolence back on him. So one of his own commanders is going to betray him.
Yeah.
After this, he will turn back toward the fortresses of his own country, but will stumble and fall to be seen no more.
So he's going to fall like in a manhole?
I don't know. He's going to die. And his successor will send out a tax collector to maintain the royal splendor. In a few years, however, he will be destroyed, yet not in anger or in battle.
He will be destroyed in the taxes.
Yeah, because the people are mad. Well, I guess people probably get mad that he sends out a tax collector so he can live rich.
Yeah.
So he is going to fall and will be succeeded he'll be succeeded by a contemptible person who has not yet been given the honor of royalty. So this is an unknown person at this point, right?
Right.
He will invade the kingdom when its people feel secure, and he will seize it through intrigue.
Ooh.
Then an overwhelming army will be swept away before him. Both it and a prince of the covenant will be destroyed. After coming to an agreement with him, he will act deceitfully, and with only a few people, he will rise to power. When the richest provinces feel secure, he will invade them and will achieve what neither his fathers nor his forefathers did. He will distribute plunder, loot, and wealth among his followers. He will plot the overthrow of fortresses, but only for a time. I feel like they all did this.
Yeah.
We've read stories about this. Okay, so with a large army, he will stir up strength and courage against the king of the south. Oh, here we go again. The king of the south will wage war with a very large and very powerful army, but he will not be able to stand because of the plots devised against him. Those who eat from the king's provisions will try to destroy him. His army will be swept away and many will fall in battle. The two kings, with their hearts bent on evil, will sit at the same table and lie to each other, but to no avail, because an end will still come at the appointed time. The king of the north will return to his own country with great wealth, but his heart will be set against the holy covenant. He will take action against it and then return to his own country. There's more.
Oh, yay.
At the appointed time, he will invade the south again.
This is like the recapping an entire drama show from like season 1 to season 10.
It's exhausting. I really do not like the book of Daniel. I really dislike it. We're almost there. We're almost there, though. You ready? Mm-hmm. So there's going to be a different outcome this time, though. Ships of the western coastlands will oppose him and he will lose heart. Then he will turn back and vent his fury against the Holy Covenant. I don't know what he has against this Holy Covenant.
I don't know.
He will return to show favor to those who forsake the Holy Covenant. His armed forces will rise up to desecrate the temple fortress and will abolish the daily sacrifice. Then they will set up the abomination that causes desolation. With flattery, he will corrupt those who have violated the covenant, but the people who know God will firmly resist him. Those who are wise will instruct many, though for a time they will fall by the sword or be burned or captured or plundered. When they fall, they will receive a little help. It's nice of God to help them, his people. And many who are not sincere will join them. Some of the wise will stumble so that they may be refined, purified, and made spotless until the time of the end. For it will still come at the appointed time. So there's an appointed time at the end, and no matter what happens, the end is still going to come.
Right.
Right? Okay. So the king will do as he pleases. He will exalt and magnify himself above every god and will say unheard of things against the God of gods. He will be successful until the time of wrath is completed, for what has been determined must take place.
Okay.
So we have determination, or isn't that what it's called? Determination?
Yeah.
Where everything is like predetermination is what it's called. Everything's predetermined.
Right.
Okay. So that's what we're talking about here. He will show no regard for the gods of his ancestors or for the one desired by women. There's a god that's desired by women. Must be Thor. Nor will he regard any god, but will exalt himself above them all. Instead of them, he will honor a god of fortresses, a god unknown to his ancestors. He will honor with gold and silver, with precious stones and costly gifts. He will attack the mightiest fortresses with the help of a foreign god and will greatly honor those who acknowledge him. He will make them rulers over many people and will distribute the land at a price. We're not done. At the time of the end, the king of the south will engage him in battle, and the king of the north will storm out against him with chariots and cavalry and a great fleet of ships. He will invade many countries and sweep through them like a flood. He will also invade the beautiful land. Many countries will fall, but Edom, Moab, and the leaders of Ammon will be delivered from his hand. He will extend his power over many countries. Egypt will not escape. He will gain control of the treasures and the gold and silver and all the riches of Egypt, with Libyans and Cushites in submission. But reports from the east and the north will alarm him, and he will set out in a great rage to destroy and annihilate many. He will pitch his royal tents between the seas at the beautiful holy mountain. Yet he will come to an end, and no one will help him.
He's gonna pitch his tent.
Yeah, so he's gonna pitch his tent, and then something's gonna happen. No one will help him, and he dies.
Right.
Okay. At that time, we're getting to the end of time now. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
At that time, Michael, the great prince who protects your people, will arise. There will be a time of distress, such as has not happened from the beginning of nations until then. But at that time, your people, everyone whose name is found written in the book, will be delivered. Multitudes who sleep in the dust of the earth will awake, some to everlasting life, others to shame and everlasting contempt. Those who are wise will shine like the brightness of the heavens, and those who lead many to those who lead many to righteousness, like the stars forever and ever. But you, Daniel, roll up and seal the words of the scroll until the time of the end. Many will go here and there to increase knowledge. So he doesn't want anybody to know about it,
Right.
but he's telling Daniel about it.
I guess, yeah. I don't know why he's telling Daniel. Like, I mean, I feel like the purpose would be so that Daniel could tell people about it.
One would think, but it doesn't matter what Daniel tells anybody, because no matter what anybody does, they're saying right now, this will come to pass.
Right.
But so when this big ass like king who exalts himself ends, then Michael, the great prince, will come. And that is, I think commonly understood to be Jesus, right?
Well, yes. So
Depending on who you ask, I guess.
Yeah, depending on who you ask. Now, the Jehovah's Witnesses have always identified Jesus as Michael, but there's actually been scholarship to support that idea. It's not as like ironclad as saying that that's definitely the situation. But if you're a Jewish Christian, you know, in the 1st century BCE or CE, looking to reinterpret scriptures as being more messianic, then there's definitely a foundation from which you can build off of, and it would make sense. So it seems like that is very much a possibility, Michael being Jesus, because like in 12:1 it says at that time Michael, the great prince who protects your people, will arise. The whole will arise or will stand up or whatever is generally linked to resurrection, kind of the whole rising motif, I guess, is kind of indicative resurrection. So there's a lot here where you could make a cogent argument, like a coherent argument that Jesus is.
Okay. You ready to continue?
Yeah.
Then I, Daniel, looked, and there before me stood 2 others. So we have the weird topaz guy, right?
Right.
One on and there's 2 others. One on this bank of the river, so assuming the one Daniel's on, since he's the one speaking, and one on the opposite bank. One of them said to the man clothed in linen, who was above the waters of the river. So he's in between, above the water, floating or whatever, walking on water. How long will it be before these astonishing things are fulfilled? Reasonable question, right?
Yeah.
It seems like a lot happened, so it seems like it will be way in the future, right? Because there was so much that went on in the days of these people's lives that, you know, I feel like this will be a long time away. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so the man clothed in linen who was above the waters of the river lifted his right hand and his left hand toward heaven, and I heard him swear by him who lives forever, saying, it will be for a time, times, and a half a time. Okay, we talked about this, I don't know, we had one recently where they measured in quote unquote times. Okay, so this is translated as a year, 2 years, and a half a year, which basic elementary school math would tell you that's 3.5 years, right?
Right.
So it's going to happen in 3.5 years. That doesn't seem like very long to go through all these kings and all of these back and forth wars. And in fact, it seems kind of strange because he said there are portions in what we just read in chapter 11 that talk about how it will be several years before, he'd attack him again or whatever. You know what I mean? So there's just not that much time before all this is going to happen, before they'll be fulfilled. Okay. When the power of the holy people has been finally broken, all these things will be completed. I heard, but I did not understand. So I asked, my Lord, what will the outcome of all this be? He replied, go your way, Daniel, because the words are rolled up and sealed until the time of the end. Many will be purified, made spotless and refined, but the wicked will continue to be wicked. None of the wicked will understand, but those who are wise will. From the time that the daily sacrifice is abolished and the abomination that causes desolation is set up, there will be 1,290 days. Okay, that's nearly 3.5 years. Blessed is the one who waits for and reaches the end of 1,335 days, which is not very much longer than the,
3.5 years.
Well, it's not 3.5 additional years. It's longer than 3.5 years by a little bit, but it's not additional years. I think it's from 1,290 to 1,335.
Right.
So that's only a couple months, right? Well, a little more than a month and a half of I guess desolation.
I guess so.
Like it's going to take a month and a half.
I guess. I don't know. All I know is that it definitely didn't happen 1,290 days or 1,335.
Or if you added them together, it didn't happen in that amount of time either.
Right.
So anyway, at the end of all this, the topaz man in linen with a gold belt told Daniel, as for you, go your own way till the end. You will rest. And then at the end of the days, you will rise to receive your allotted inheritance. So this ends the record of Daniel's life. There's nothing else from Daniel again.
Right.
He's going to be rewarded apparently when the end of time comes. And if that's 3.5 years from this time or 3.5 years from the time when I don't really know how this is all gonna work out, but he's going to die and rest, and then he'll rise again and be rewarded. Right.
So this is when he says rest, he means die.
Yeah.
So this they're talking about the general resurrection of all people at the at Judgment Day.
Yeah, at the end of times.
Right.
So that's it for Daniel. We're done. We're done with Daniel.
Yay! Done with Daniel.
Thankfully, we are done with. So, next time on the Bible, I believe we're going to go back into Ezra. We're going to go back into Ezra. And they run into some issues with the temple's construction. Okay, that's where we ended off in Ezra last time. They were working on constructing the temple.
Right.
Okay. So there are going to be some issues. There will be some accusations that and a guy is going to send this letter that casts some doubt on the people who are building the temple and what's going to happen with that area and what they should do. Anyway, it's basically to stop. They don't want the temple to be built.
Right.
Okay. So the king is going to reply to it. And temple construction is actually going to be halted for a while.
Oh, okay.
And it's going to be halted but then a prophet is going to get involved and they'll restart the temple rebuilding, right?
Okay.
Because the prophet gets involved. So they're going to restart, but there's going to be some more authority of the prophets is going to be questioned. And the authority of the people who are building the temple, what authority do they have to do it? There's going to be a letter to Darius about it. And this is just, it's really a pain in the ass, right? Then King Darius is going to put out a memo about Cyrus's decree. Darius is going to make his own decree. And it's going to be a lot of shit back and forth, accusations and this and that. And the temple's going to be built, then it's not, then it is, then it's not. It's just, we're going to have some more drama.
Right.
Yeah. But this time in Ezra.
Okay. Awesome. Well, I mean, if y'all want to know about that back and forth shit, then you'll have to tune in next week. If you will, right now, let us know down in the comments what you thought about today's Bible study. How do you feel about this whole Michael Jesus connection? Do you think I was really all that far off, or I don't know. What do you think about it? Did y'all recognize like all of the messianic stuff that was going on there right at the end in chapter 12? Let me know down below in the comments. And hey, while you're down there, why don't you smash that like button and subscribe if you like Bible studies like this.
And don't forget to stand up and use your voice.
Bye, heathens.
Bye, y'all.